The truth is we're seeing countries like Indonesia and Vietnam who are recipients of aid doing better and being wealthier. We certainly know that we have the biggest refugee crisis in Asia there in Bangladesh, the Rohingya, and I've been to those camps and it's devastating circumstances. So responding with priorities for Bangladesh, for Myanmar, shifting them in other parts, then the Pacific Step Up, which really is saying how are we going to talk climate change, the existential issue the Pacific Islanders are worried about. All of these things will need to be canvassed in this review. As we focus on the Pacific, we must admit we've actually cut aid in Asia to do the Pacific Step Up. Robbing Peter to pay Paul's not a good idea. I do think we have to face this in the review that's now been announced.
So, yeah, how do you feel about the motivations there with the step up? Is there a degree of political strategy behind this rather than the money going to the places that need it most?
Undoubtedly, we know of the Chinese influence and the security concerns, and defence people have been saying to me, we've cut aid too much. Aid is soft power, aid is relational and community empowerment, and when you only rely on hard power defence, we get into a mess. And we have cut aid to the lowest level ever in our history, and we're the highest in median per capita wealth, we in Australia, and yet only 19th on the list down in generosity in aid. So we don't want just the crumbs from stealing from Asia to go in the Pacific Step Up. We want a sane, relational approach. The great thing about the Pacific, and we've said to the government, and they're welcoming this, is civil society is largely churches there, and there's a whole lot of Australian churches and aid agencies that have deep relationships. Let's do the Pacific Step Up in a smart, relational, community way, not simply fear of China. You know, the fascinating thing is there's only two parts of the budget that have percentages attached. Defence has got to be 2% of a gross national income, and aid 0.7%. We never cut defence, and we shouldn't, it's at 2%. Aid's not at 0.7, it's at 0.2. And that's what is disturbing, and we at least have a floor, and I'm pleased about that, but over years this aid budget has to be increased.